Please join me in welcoming to the stage Reverend Yolanda.
Hey, everybody. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the church with two drinking along. Welcome to the church with two drinking along. We are here to make your cheerful. God, so relax and get ready for the celebration. Welcome to the church with two drinking along. Welcome to the church with two drinking along.
Hey, everybody.
You may have noticed something different because we're on the road.
We are. We're in Vermont, and we were trying to broadcast from our little shack on our land, but it wasn't going so well.
We weren't cooperating.
So we drove up the hill, and we're at the town hall.
I know. Free Wi-Fi at Wyndham Town Hall, y'all. Come on down.
In Wyndham, Vermont.
No. Population 411.
Yeah.
No.
We're the 11.
I know. We're like number 11 right here.
The many faces of Glenn and Yolanda. But wow, we just wanted to do this from up here because, we like to do this program live with you, and we didn't want to miss it. And we just wanted to share a little bit of, our community up here. Now, you can't see too much, but right behind us, and it's rainy, as you can tell, but right behind us is the town cemetery. And it's really quite a beautiful cemetery. It's very old. And in front of us is the elementary school. Mm-hmm. And we're just surrounded by, lush greenery.
And yeah, it's rain. It really does. It's raining and very, very green.
Very, very green.
Right. And remember Vermont. What is Vermont?
Green Mountain, right?
Green Mountain.
Yeah.
We are surrounded by green mountains today.
Which I just love so very much. I mean, it's such a respite for the soul, to be here and be in nature and just enjoy it, even if it's raining. I love it. We wanted to broadcast from the shack because it's got a tin roof.
We wanted to give you the experience of sitting under a tin roof in the rain. Right.
It's such a great, you can sleep. It's so beautiful,
It's a little bit cool. It's like 45 degrees.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so nice. So anyway, I hope you're having a lovely Memorial Day, and it's beautiful weather wherever you are, and you're having a great time with your family and friends. And we're letting it be just exactly as it is.
Welcome to our Jeep Cherokee.
All right. Yeah. Welcome to our Jeep Cherokee. Here we go. Let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change
God. 'Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
And you and me.
So you and me
will live in peace.
We live in peace.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know
what anything is for.
What anything is for.
Unless I listen to that still small voice.
I have a still small voice
telling me.
It's telling me
this simple truth. That everything is for our
everything
good.
is for my good.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change
God. 'Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be
Exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
And you and me.
So you and me
will live in peace.
we live in peace.
I'm not this body.
I'm not this body
that you see.
that you see.
I am as God.
I am as God
created me.
God created me.
And we are all one family.
One family.
And it's possible.
Yes, it's possible
to live in peace.
we live in peace.
So let things be.
Let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change
Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
And you and me.
And you and me
will live in peace.
we live in peace.
Kumbaya.
From a car.
This is cracking me up. I'm just like, this is so fun.
I know. If you're looking for something, you're always like, are you prepared for firsts in your life?
Oh, this is the first.
Right? Are you prepared? Really? Are you willing to step out and try new things? Listen to the Holy Spirit. Take risks. Be vulnerable.
Right.
Learn a new thing.
Yeah. And you know, it's been it's just been so interesting up here already.
We've been practicing the lesson.
We have been practicing the lesson. I'm gonna look at today's lesson.
I mean, we're gonna talk today about a phrase that we like around these ACIM circles. It's called the happy learner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the happy learner.
We are.
And we're gonna contrast that with the devotee of misery. She says, you know, we all know about the happy learner, but did you know that there's the devotee of misery? Did you know that? So
some of our friends on Wednesday night weren't quite so happy to hear that, but you know, but it's really true if you look at it. Like, also, you know, I'm taking the Kabbalah class with Awakening Together, and it's also given me a great perspective, saying the same things we say in A Course in Miracles in little differently. And I'm just still really reflecting on this idea from the Kabbalah that I don't know if I'm pronouncing the words Ein Sof is the creator before even God exists, and Ein Sof gives and gives and gives and gives and gives and gives.
It's the source
of everything. And so Ein Sof gave to what the Kabbalah calls the vessel, and the vessel tried to give back, and in that giving back, it created this void that we now call the separation, and it actually split the vessel into the universe. So that's the Big Bang Theory, and I just find that fascinating.
And it's unity, and it's the web of creation.
Yeah,
and all things together are one and whole, and come back to source.
Right. And I was watching today Regina's video that sort of reviews the first week of lessons, and she was talking about, if you think of that void as when you so you breathe in, then you breathe out, and you breathe out, just you keep breathing out, right? Until it's just a tiny bit uncomfortable. And then you have to take air in again, right? And that space Regina was talking about is the separate, you know, can be described in in these terms as the separation, and that's sort of where
The
where
stillness
the
between
stillness
voice.
is. Yeah, that's where the, you know, the all of what we think is not God is, and so I'm just thinking of this, what we call the separation, as nothing more. It's really this brief little,
Well, it's the transition between breaths.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
movement. There's next.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Because the next breath always comes.
Exactly. And
There's
so
nothing to fear.
there's nothing to fear. Whatever path you choose, if you're stuck in the separation and
Oh, I
you
know.
think that's it, then that's okay too.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you don't have to earn breath? Don't
Right.
you be good enough for God to reach your heart and to breathe for you? I'm glad that isn't means tested. I really am, because I think maybe I would come up short sometime.
Well, I don't know. I've just been so fascinated with that, with that idea that separation is nothing, like it's nothing more than that brief little moment before you take your next breath, and that it doesn't stop life. You know what I mean?
No.
It doesn't stop life, and everything about it is divine, because God himself wanted to experience itself, and this is how it's happening.
Mhm.
The experience is happening, so I'm really like,
Well,
wow, this is
it
just so
reminds
cool.
me of a physicist talking to me about how the physics of how human beings walk.
Oh, that's interesting.
And what we do is we planned. It's called calculated falling.
Huh.
You put your foot together and you lean forward, and your body is moved forward because of gravity in this falling motion. So
Huh.
what we do is we take a step and take a step in this falling thing. So we're
Ooh.
constantly managing managing falling, managing between the steps when we're just momentum.
Oh, wow. See how all this stuff. So I'm a happy learner today. I'm saying all this to say I'm a happy learner today. And so we also had some friends visit us on our land this morning, and one of them brought a horse over, and her name is Lady the horse. And it turns out that Lady the horse likes our dandelions, our dandelion fields. So Lady the horse comes over like a lot, even when we're not here and stuff, to eat on our dandelion field.
They say that she when she gets loose, they know where to find her, because we have the best unkept property on the whole block.
In fact, they lost her at like 1:30 in the morning this past morning. And that's where she was. She was over in our
house
field eating. So we had a sweet visit from Lady the horse. And we also had a visit from our friend, a friend of ours who's helping us sort of conceive of what our next steps are on our property. And the reason I'm mentioning all this is that that's another happy learning experience.
Yeah.
We're learning about what the next steps are for us to do on our land.
What order to do things.
Not what our egos were like, we're going to do this, and this is going to happen this way and this way and this way. And then we found out that that's not really possible. So now we're kind of letting it happen,
letting it unfold as it's supposed to.
And it turns out that we have a lot of resources on our land
already
that we can use. So that it's cool to in this happy learner mode, it's cool to have your mind in that space so that you can see what's right in front of you, right?
Yeah.
And so that you can use the resources and the connect with the community that's right in front of you.
That is like God is trying to give you
everything
that this land and the community is really trying to give us what we need to succeed. And if I can be a happy learner, I have the ability to see it. If I can let go of my opinions and how it needs to be, even if they're really well-meaning, even if
Yeah.
it's a really good idea, or it's like just
Mhm.
hold loosely my way of doing things.
That's good to hold it loosely, right? Wow.
Hold on loosely, but don't let go, right?
Hold on loosely. I don't know. Is that a song? I
That's
think
a
it's
Kansas.
a Kansas song. Okay. Well, so let's see. I thought we'd read the lesson. Today's lesson, it's a review, and we'll do our meditation, and then Sina's going to play another video. It's a little easier to share
Oh, I
music
know.
with you
I know.
from Sina's end today.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so today's lesson, we're in a review still, and it's lesson 150, and this part of this review section starts off with this phrase that says, "My mind holds only what I think with God." My mind holds only what I think with God.
Mhm.
Wow, that right there is enough to sort of contemplate on. But then it's reviewing lesson 139. I will accept atonement for myself.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the world, the real world,
Mm-hmm.
one with all things connected, and
Mm-hmm.
inside the living web. That's where I'm going to be.
I like that. I'll be happily there.
Uh-huh.
And then it also reviews 140. Only salvation can be said to cure. That's an interesting phrase.
Yeah. Well, it's a cure would be a correction. Would cure something would be a correction or a healing. Right, and the healing is, what do we heal from? Believing in our own
belief
ignorance,
in our belief in
very
separation,
belief in separation, which is
which is
not
what,
true.
right, when it says the
In
first thing, I will accept
atonement
at one minute. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure.
Yeah.
So I'm willing and ready to accept atonement for myself and to have salvation that cures. So the salvation here is speaking of understanding that I am accepting the atonement, that I am at one with all living
That's
beings.
salvation.
Yeah,
And I always say salvation is a saved from and saved to. Saved to be myself and saved from suffering. Saved salvation.
Yeah, no,
and that's what I offer to others is salvation, not to be me, but to be you. Our contribution to your community, what ours is to do. Because what is mine to do isn't yours to do.
Right.
But together we participate in what the world is asking, and so the whole thing evolves and is healed in real time for the experience of it. So I can feel the phrase that Yolanda's been working with, and it's really nice when you have to rely on other people to get what you want done, right? Because we're all relying on somebody else to get what we need done. Thank you, Sina.
Right.
So
right.
we all rely on other people.
Yeah.
I trust, like Yolanda's been saying for a couple of weeks now, I trust my brothers. I trust my brothers. They're one with me. I trust this working together, that God has woven us all together. I trust that.
Yeah.
I trust that.
I do.
That's where I want to be. I want to learn how to trust that and be willing to receive that quickly.
And am I open to even letting myself trust that, right?
I think it's a lifestyle.
Well, that's why I keep saying it over and over, because it pops up in almost every circumstance that I find myself in. I mean, we are surrounded by each other. We are like in community, whether we want to be or not. I mean, just period. So let's do this meditation, and then Sina will play my song "Love and Light." So here we go. And let's take 3 deep breaths together. And on the last one, let it out on an ohm. Here we go. are you and I together co-creating this amazing circle of love that we all share, because we are made of this divine love. This divine unconditional love is what we are made of. And so let's celebrate that today. Let's celebrate all of us in this room together and everyone that's listening. And let's celebrate that love that is within us, bubbling up inside of us. I just feel so bubbly today. Bubbling up inside of us and spilling out into the rooms and the houses and the apartments and the places that we live, and spilling out over into our streets and our cities and our towns and our states, our country, our world. All of it, whether we like it or not, is in this circle of love. So we bless everything that we like, because thank you. Thank you so much. And we bless everything that we don't like, because thank you. Thank you so much. We can learn from it. And we're willing to be happy learners today. So we declare and we know that human consciousness is shifting, and that we're growing and changing, and that's a cause for celebration. And that currently right here, we're seated on the land of our Native American ancestors. Right here in Vermont, it's the Abenaki. We celebrate our ancestors, and we declare and we know that Black Lives Matter and Black trans lives matter. And we just celebrate today that we are alive together in this moment, in this experience, and just this lovely knowledge of we are one. We are living in love and light. Blessed be, and so it is.
Thank you.
Let's share some love and light. Buvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Yoyora Prachodayat. I'm living in love and light. Yes, I am. I'm living in love and light. Yes, I am. I'm living in the truth that love has healed my life, because I'm talking about, yes, I am talking about, I'm talking about love and light. Take it out. I'm living in love and light.
from our obviously our church is Two Drink Minimum in the city at Sidewalk Cafe.
Yeah, West Village.
We were doing a couple of things there. I was singing a Sanskrit mantra at the beginning, and then Adam was singing a Hebrew prayer because he does a lot of
Elohim, yeah.
Elohim. So that was a joyous
and you
celebration.
may recognize the first one, Umbur Bavasvaha Tat Savitur Vyenyan Bargo Devasya Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat.
Which I mispronounced. I didn't quite get the whole thing right. Excuse me there. But yes, I love that prayer. Om Bu Bhavasvaha.
It's the Gayatri mantra, right?
Gayatri mantra, yeah.
You may recognize it from Battlestar Galactica. That's the theme for Battlestar Galactica.
It's amazing. Like that particular series has a lot of amazing things to it. But they use that for the theme song. It's quite incredible.
I know, we love that. We love that.
So let's see what you gonna talk about. Well, we're talking about the Happy Learner today. And I also have a little thing I want to mention to Jacqueline because we're not going to be able to stay today for something genuine. But after we do the message and everything, I want to share just a little something for Jacqueline especially. But in today's message, we're in chapter 14, right?
Yep, chapter 14. Chapter 14 is called Teaching the Truth. Chapter 14 is a lot about how we as human beings and how culture uses the past. Right? Because a lot of what we think of a lot of who we are is because of experiences in the past.
Right.
And how we act and what we do and our likes and our dislikes, a lot of those experiences are based on the past, and we have allowed the past to create for us a worldview. Right. And there are collective worldviews. There's cultural worldviews. There's family worldviews. There's individual worldviews. And the course is offering us to take an examination about how rigidly we construct those worldviews, the way things are, from our interpretation of past events. Right? Look at how the past has influenced your thinking today, and you'll be able maybe to understand or be able to look at or learn from our mistakes rather than be the subject to their their effects. Right. If we can be present, the past doesn't have any effects. If we can act on who we are and the truth, the past doesn't have any effects. Well, how do we do that? Well, she offers us up. The first thing you do is you have to be able to honestly examine what you've done in the past and how it affected you and what happened, right? Can we do that? And she goes, the way to approach that is to be a happy learner. Is to be grateful for what you find. Is to open your mind and say, oh, this isn't me. I know that my past isn't me. I know that my past actions aren't me. So I can look at them, I can evaluate, and I can be with those ideas and be with those consequences and examine them critically and without judgment in a happy way and be grateful. It's like, oh wow, I didn't even see that. Have you ever had an experience where something changed you got a little bit of information and it changed your whole understanding about what had happened in the past? Right? You get I remember once my mother, I was complaining and says, I didn't get into Wakefield College. My boyfriend at the time was going to Wakefield, and I wanted to go to Wakefield so bad as a college.
He was there.
Because my boyfriend was there. And he was the best thing in the whole world.
Of course.
And so I wanted to go to Wakefield, and I was telling the story around the kitchen table and says how I couldn't get into Wakefield. My parents didn't let me go and everything like that. And my mother goes, you didn't get in. What do you mean? You didn't get it. You didn't have the grades for it. You didn't get in. We applied. Everybody applied. We went to the whole tour and everything. You didn't get in. What do you mean? Nobody stopped you from going to Wakefield. You didn't get in. But that's not how I told the story.
Of course. So
I told the story that it was because the whole world was against me.
Right. I know. Let's do that.
My boyfriend didn't love me anymore.
That's
and
right.
and my parents were thwarting my relationship and everything. But that's not what happened. That
Not
little
at
bit of
all.
information was like, ugh. And what the children say, my face broke. It's just like I had to admit that I didn't go to the college with my boyfriend because I didn't get in, not because it was anything that anybody was doing against me. So and I was happy. So could I be happy to learn that? Maybe
not at the time you weren't, but
so this idea of a happy learner is something we actually learned really very easily, very quick, very early in our lives. If you were in kindergarten and elementary school, right? To be happy, and so that's like the image today. If you can keep in your head a little child's book that says when you're happy, how the world changes when you're happy. Yeah. It's like the world is messed up when you're sad and you're a little boy or little girl and you don't get what you want. Your mom won't let you have Captain Crunch for dinner, maybe. And so this is the end of the world, right? But if you're happy and everything's good, the world is wonderful and easy and bright and things like that. So what is it about our attitude that brings that perspective, that changes our perspective? She's asking you to really work with this idea that we actually know from early childhood. The other image I want you to put in your head is I don't know about you, but when I went to the gas station at the calendars at the garage, the calendar up in the mechanic station, it always usually had a scantily clad girl draped over a car, right? The garage calendar with with the girl, and she's so whatever your thank you, Yolanda. So whatever whatever, maybe it's a guy, maybe it's a rabbit, I don't know, draped over a car or
How
a
about
tricycle.
The firefighters.
Oh yeah,
calendar.
the fire. Yeah, maybe you could do the firefighter calendar, right?
Anyway, I got it. Yeah.
So that image is one of basically of success, right? They're trophies. They're earned. It's like I'm, I've made it. I have the beautiful woman. I have the beautiful car. I have the beautiful house. I have the, I've made it. These are like trophy images, right? So that idea, those two images, one of the little children's book that says, "Are you happy?" And the other one is a garage calendar girl pinup with the fast car on it.
Okay, I'm going to take the fireman's calendar, and they're all shirtless, and they're hanging off the
fire engine, right?
Engine, yeah,
right?
That's my fantasy.
Okay. For me, so read this. So this is called The Happy Learner. It's from chapter 14, and it's in chapter 14 is a lot about looking at the past and how the past influences us. So read what I've highlighted for you.
Okay, this is really cool. The Holy Spirit needs a happy learner. You believe that misery is happiness. Well, how about that? You will believe that nothing is of value and will value it. A little piece of glass, a speck of dust, a body, or a war are one to you.
She says that.
Wow, isn't that
thinking about those things as being one?
interesting?
A war, a tiny piece of glass. What would a tiny piece?
Well, you can get that.
Well, it's a metaphor for a diamond or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Or like jewelry.
A little piece of glass, a speck of dust.
A speck of dust. What would a speck of dust be?
I don't know. Dirty stuff.
Well, that's an allusion to things that are valuable in the past, like old things, like
Okay.
things that are old and passed on to you and
Mhm.
things like that. A speck of dust. It's dust.
A body or a war are one to you.
Right. A body, which is the the beautiful woman or the
Mhm.
fireman,
Mhm.
right? And a war, which is power over.
Right.
Which she's telling you is like these are things that are the ego values, and they all come out of the past. Their value comes from a collective understanding of their use in the past.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was, if you're going to love war and you're going to love little bits of glass and specks of dust and you're going to prefer bodies over reality,
Mm.
then what you are is a devotee of misery.
Yeah, she says that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, this is the happy learner versus the devotee of misery.
Mm-hmm.
And the devotee of misery is your ego, right? Or the ego's understanding, or the world, or the hegemony, or however we talk about this. So it presents this hegemony. The world presents happiness as an impossible task. It's just difficult. It's really hard. It's impossible. It's nearly impossible. It's just for very, very few people. And so because it asks us to learn to be okay or to manage our separateness. That separateness is a given, and we have to like manage and figure that out to make everything okay. To learn that we are separate from God and all that is. And so when she talks about valuing what is valueless, that speck of dust and the body and the wars and everything like that, they can be basically put into three categories: material objects or possessions,
Right.
power over other people, and physical pleasure. Right? Possessions, power, and pleasure. Those things and ideas, their value come out of the past.
Right.
Right. The body, the power over, those are things that come out of the past.
Right.
And so she asks us, she goes, just observe the true systems and what they're promising. Look at what power over, possessions, and pleasure are promising you. And look and contrast that with what the Holy Spirit, our inner wisdom, our inner guidance, our truest nature is asking us to look at, or telling us to do. Like, let things be as they are. Could we practice that? So read this next bit.
Yeah, it's, can we let things be as they are is always a lesson every day.
I know, coming to you from a car.
Coming from a cloudy, steamy car.
Just slowly steaming up.
Woo, in a rainy Vermont afternoon. Anyway, okay, let's see. The next part says, the fundamental teaching that truth is true. This is the hardest lesson you will ever learn, and in the end, the only one. Simplicity is very difficult for twisted minds.
Okay, the devotee of misery, she says, is a twisted mind.
That's so funny.
So you take one thing and you twist it.
Right.
So you've turned it. You've reoriented it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You've made it, instead of the focus being on the world and our web, we've twisted it. We've realigned the focus to be about me, which I'm very familiar with. Read the next part. I know, just ask me to stop talking and I'll get with you.
Okay, so the next part says, the simple and the obvious are not apparent to those who would make palaces and royal robes of nothing, believing they are kings with golden crowns because of them.
Okay, there's your beautiful there's your fireman on the scaffold, on the engine, on the fire engine, or the beautiful woman draped on the very expensive fast car.
Right.
So we want the reward if we play this game right. If we learn the ego's plan, we double down on the workings of the hegemony. What we want is possessions, power over, and pleasure. And that's what she says.
Yeah, palaces and royal robes.
Palaces,
royal robes of
royal
nothing.
robes. Being a king,
believing they're kings with golden crowns. Right? Yeah.
Possessions, pleasure, and
I love this.
Power.
I love this royal robes of nothing. It reminds me of the Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah, the royal robes of nothing.
That's so great that she says that.
So the Holy Spirit meets us, as opposed to the ego. The Holy Spirit is going to meet us where we are, just where we are. Meet us at our understanding level. Meet us at our comfort level. The Holy Spirit meets us where we are, because we're headed off to the fast car with the fast girl and the robes and kings and everything. That's what the world says. So Holy Spirit steps in and says, I know that you're frightened. I know that you're guilty. I know that you're in pain. And I know that you're a devotee of misery. That's not the problem. The problem is our inability to look at the decisions that we're making. Our mind, right? So the primary message is truth is true. And we can find out that if we will engage our simple mind and not our twisted mind.
Talk about that for a minute.
Well, a simple mind is like seeing things for exactly what they are and not trying to make something up, not trying to put meaning into things. No object has inherent meaning. No body has inherent meaning. No power over has inherent meaning. So what we want to be true is the deal. What do you want to be true? Do you want the ego's message to be true? We want the only way to be happy is to have a fast, expensive car, or to have robes or nothingness? So that's the engagement with others. That's the engagement in the community. That is the engagement of what world do you want? The world that she's offering is one of separation or one of connection and joining and the web and being present to what is, having God in our hearts and sharing with the world who we are. That's, if we can examine our minds, that's what we'll find. And we'll discover the pursuit of crowns and robes and palaces isn't where it's at. Now, none of those things are inherently bad, right? Things don't have inherent meaning.
Right.
So there isn't a good crown or a bad crown or an evil or positive or anything like that. It just doesn't bring happiness.
Right.
It just doesn't bring happiness. And if that's what you want, if you want reality, which we say we do, but very often what we would like is just to manage our misery better. So you're devoted to managing your misery rather than being devoted to waking up.
That is a good point. That is a really good point.
So read the next bit here.
Okay. The Holy
Spirit
says, with steadfast quietness, the truth is true. Nothing else matters. Nothing else is real. And everything beside it is not there. Let me make the one distinction for you that you cannot make, but need to learn. Your faith in nothing is deceiving you. Offer your faith to me, and I will place it gently in the holy place where it belongs. You will find no deception there, but only the simple truth, and you will love it.
Simple truth. You will find the simple truth.
And you will love it because you will understand it.
Right. This is natural. We do understand. Wow. We really do. Remember that children's book?
Yes.
We learned is like we make better decisions when we're happy and when we're in a good mood.
Yes.
And we're like AA has a phrase about don't be too hungry, angry, lonely and tired. It's like don't make decisions based on that.
Right.
The contrast to that is make decisions when you're happy. Be a happy learner. So
the heavy chain. Oh, you want to?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So the next part says the heavy chains that seem to bind them to despair, they do not see as nothing until you bring the light to them, and then they see the chains have disappeared, and so they must have been nothing.
Right. We people have helped us see the change that we've had to the past. Right? Has somebody helped you see where your beliefs about the past are holding you back? That's worked for me. People says no, like my mother did. She goes, no, that's not how it happened. That's just not how it happened. So has helped me let go of the chains I've had on the past. Help me let go of the story that's holding me to the pursuit of robes of nothingness and the devotion to my misery and managing it, right? So God, she says here in this paragraph, God made the truth, not us.
Right.
And so that's reliable because I'm not making the truth. I can rely on it being consistent.
Yes.
Right. So the Holy Spirit brings the light of truth, and the world recognizes it in us. The world recognizes the truth, and we recognize the truth in the world when we're doing that, when we have that light within us. We're sharing the light of who we are. We recognize that truth. I recognize the truth in the teachers that teach me. I recognize the truth in the children that I see. And the animals, and like Lady the horse today, she's really this beautiful old lady, beautiful old woman. So the Holy Spirit is teaching us to see our chains,
right?
To see our change to the past, to see our chained to our stories and our narratives and the way things have got to be, and I doubling down on the way we want things rather than connection. We want to own things, want to have possessions. We're dedicated to our pleasure. We're dedicated to possessions. We're dedicated to having power over other people because we think that the world tells us that makes us safe and that makes us valuable too. Right? So read the next piece.
All right. So it says, when you teach anyone that truth is true, you learn it with him. And so you learn that what seemed hardest was the easiest. Learn to be a happy learner. You will never learn how to make nothing everything.
See, it's a useless journey. You're never going to have to, it's unteachable to figure out how to manage your separation and make it okay or make it work for us, right? We're not going to double down on, oh, well, if I could just figure out how the separation thing works, I wouldn't hurt so much. I wouldn't be making so many mistakes.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that earlier about like what Regina said in the video about from the Kabbalah from week 1, just that little, when you breathe out, just that little and push it, and that little space between the next breath. It's nothing. It's nothing.
So we teach, here's the idea that we teach peace to learn it, right? Teach your own light to see the light. See the light so we can experience the light. Teach peace to earn it. We crave connection. We don't crave, contrary to popular belief, and this is what she's asking us to examine, see if this is true for you. Do we crave pleasure? Do we crave, power over? Are we craving material possessions? Or do we just have an idea, or are we chained to wrong ideas about the way the world is and who we are? So you will never learn how to make nothing everything. It's not learnable. Give up trying to learn how to do it.
Nothing.
Everybody. So
I don't think so.
She's offering you relief here. She's offering us relief. Let go of the story. Let go of the narrative. Let go of trying to double down on making things work together. We're not happy, not because we can't figure out how to live in the real world. We're happy because we aren't living in the real world. We know how to live in the real world. We have to learn how to not
live
in
the real world. Yeah.
So if you would be a happy learner,
you must give everything you have learned to the Holy Spirit to be unlearned for you.
That's a good thing, right?
The universe of learning will open up before you in all its gracious simplicity.
Okay, we have now the universe of learning. Misery, universe of learning. Misery, universe of learning. What sounds good?
Yeah.
Right? So be a happy learner. Give up the past learning because it's not true. We can examine it. What works, what doesn't. If it promotes connection and peace, and there we are. So there are joyous lessons before us. There's joyous lessons to learn. What are these joyous lessons? That the universe of learning is ready to open up its doors, right, and pour into us. That's good news. Really, really good news.
Yay.
All right, we're getting.
Oh, I know, we're getting close, to where we need to.
All right, read this next piece.
Okay,
So
all this lies in the Holy Spirit's plan to free you from the past and open up the way to freedom for you.
All right, there's a plan. There's a plan.
Behold your brothers in their freedom.
Behold.
And learn of them how to be free of darkness.
Yes, we're teaching each other.
The light in you will awaken them, and they will not leave you asleep.
That's what we do for each other. I'm not going to leave you asleep. You don't leave me asleep. We are awakening together.
As we like to say here.
Mm-hmm.
God is everywhere, and his Son is in him with everything. Can he sing the dirge of sorrow when this is true?
I want you to read that sentence again. Where's God? Where's
everywhere.
God? Where?
Everywhere, even in this car.
In everywhere, and in everyone, and in everything?
Yes.
And that's what it says?
Everywhere.
God is in everything?
In everyone, in everything, everywhere. And his Son is in him with everything.
And I'm too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of material objects. I'm thinking of our cats and our dogs.
Did the plastic or the metal in this car fall out of the sky? I mean, fall out of another universe or something like that? Did it? No, it's always been here. It came from the earth. It came from, this was once all living beings, all living. This is the body under pressure, of the beings that lived on the planet that turned it into oxygen so that we could exist.
Yeah, it's just so cool. I just wanted to mention again in that video that I was watching with Regina, she mentioned that she had experienced being an apple, and it had an experience with the towel rack, or like knowing that was a part of everything, knowing that they were part of the oneness. And I just love that, because to me it reflects this, what she's saying here in the chorus. God is everywhere, and his Son is in him with everything.
I know.
Can he sing the dirge of sorrow when this is true? Yeah. And
the dirge of sorrow is the favorite song. Is the favorite hymn. It's the favorite hymn to the devotees of misery.
But you know what? If we had drinks in the car, which we don't, we would toast and say, "This is Reverend Glenn Morton Cataway, your favorite anarchist preacher."
And you're at church with a 2-drink minimum in a car.
In a car. And so we want to leave you with this song, because I think it really goes with the lesson. It's my, it's my favorite song that I share, called "We Are Angels." So I'm going to have you play that, Sina. Thank you.
We love you.
Thank you.
But again, I just want to thank you for being here and sharing the love with us today. And just know that we are all angels. That's the way of the world. We are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels. We are angels.
Video in such a long time. Thanks for finding that one. That's my friend Sean Thomas and us singing at a Unity church. So thank you very much. We love you. We'll see you all next time. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling